Right. Good evening, everyone. So, this is a session which specifically focuses on how to prepare for the Symbiosis interviews and yes, the CV making also. And as we finish this particular session, we'll talk about the way forward. The calls are expected tomorrow. As soon as the calls come, please intimate the center about the calls and which date and what time. And we will schedule the mock PI for each one of you. Right? Please ensure do it at the earliest, right? And share the call letter that you have with the center. So we have a track of all the students who have got call letters for different SLS centers, be it Pune or Hyderabad or NCR for that matter. Okay. Okay. So let's start with the basics. So this is essentially SLS has four campuses. We know that BLLB, BBLLB, both options. The selection process, when you look at, some of you have given one SLAT exam, some of you have given two. They take the higher of the two if somebody has taken both, right? In the overall selection, the entrance exam counts for 70% weightage and the interview for 30% weightage. Process of interview, it's an online video platform-based interview. You will get the link for it and then you do it from home. A few basic things, make sure that you have a good Wi-Fi connection. Check the speed before starting. In case there are possibilities of power cuts, see if you can have a small, UPS, right? Especially at the router end. You're using a laptop has batteries, so the power should not be a problem for the laptop end. But if the router loses power, sometimes in apartment complexes, power goes and the generator comes on, but there is a lag. And then router switches off and then again, it takes a couple of minutes. So just to ensure that you have a seamless experience, you get a small UPS for the router. If it's not available, you can get it set. Okay. Make sure you pick a good place where you will actually give the interview from. Make sure the lighting is good. Typically, if the lighting is from the front or from side, it is good. We would not like to have lighting behind you while you sit in front of the laptop. Again, simple thing to actually check it out. We can do that during the mock PI. We can check out how the clarity with which the video is, whether the lighting is good and so on. Right? You dress formally. I don't think much advice is needed in this case, but quickly, if I look at it, uh, let's start with the boys. Make sure that you have a formal shirt and formal trousers. Even though the trousers may not be visible, it still make sure that you're completely formal. Uh, it's good to have a tie, but I mean, if you're not comfortable, if it makes you uncomfortable, you can skip that particular process. I think a coat or blazer is optional, really, right? Shirt and tie should normally be enough, right? Uh, as far as shirts are concerned, solid colors are probably the best because especially on video, sometimes there is pixelation when you have checks or stripes, right? Similarly, as far as colors are concerned, solid colors are good, and I would normally prefer blue if you have a choice because blue kind of translates well in video. Very light colors like white and off white tend to sometimes give you a washed out look type of that. Gray works, I think. So I think gray is while gray is possible, blue is probably the safest of the options. So solid color blue, if you have to go, if I have to give you one simple answer, solid color blue would be good. As far as the ladies are concerned, uh, I think both Western and as well as ethnic are fine. Just choose the design and colors carefully. We are looking at pastel colors, not very bright. Similarly, accessories to be minimized. We don't look at, there's absolutely nothing wrong with having earrings or a small chain or so, but nothing that, draws attention as such. So other than that, we're probably good. Okay. The interview process is typically for 10 to 12 minutes, right? Very rarely it has gone up to 15. That's the max I've ever heard of an interview for SLS take, right? Typically 2 to 3 members, faculty definitely. Sometimes they also rope in other experts or alumni for this particular process, right? There's no hard and fast rule about who would be on the panel. Faculty will definitely be there, but non-faculty members may be there. Right. So what are they looking for? What are the evaluation parameters when it comes to interviews? I've just put down 4 key areas. One is career awareness and motivation, right? A common question would be, why is it that you want to be a lawyer? What made you decide to take up law as a profession? Right. Now, remember, a lot of the answers that I get from students, especially when they are unprepared, are, you know, very cookie cutter kind of template answers, right? From childhood, I wanted to be a lawyer kind of thing. Look, that's not the point. They want to know the why. What is it about the law that you like, right? So they're asking for, what interests you as far as law is concerned. It has to be connected to what exposure do you have to different aspects of law. Similarly, what kind of skills or character traits are essential for a person to become a good lawyer, and how do you prove that you have those kind of saying, things like communication skills, critical thinking, uh, ability to read and research. So you want to connect your skills, your strengths to your career choice, right? Career choices are done based on interest, but also based on ability. Saying, okay, when I analyze myself, I know my strengths and my strengths are suited to this particular career. That is a good answer. Similarly, they are evaluating communication and confidence, right? Communication is not about language, right? Obviously, it helps to be grammatically correct. It helps to have good pronunciation. But the key is not how well you speak. The key is how effectively you speak, right? They are looking for uh, confidence. They are looking for clarity. They are looking for logic. They are looking for analytical answers, right? We'll see a couple of questions and see how answer can be framed for certain questions. Then they will ask questions regarding both legal and general awareness. While you have studied a lot of GK over the last 1 year, the small difference here is in the interview stage, you're not looking at simply knowledge of facts, whether you know the facts, right? Yes, knowing the facts is important, but here it is also important to understand those facts. Your comprehension of the issues involved is going to be critical, right? Remember, I think some of you would know that I had taken a session on, let us say, the Waqf Amendment Bill types, right? What were the problems with the earlier Waqf Act? What are the objective of the new amendment? How does it propose to solve these issues? What are the criticisms that people have made against the act? And what has been the government's response? And what is your opinion, all things considered? Right? This last part is very important, that they want you to have an opinion, and an opinion which is based on facts and logic. An opinion that you can justify. You can say that, look, this 2 areas of the Work Amendment Act are problematic and I would like them to be changed. I can explain why they are problematic and what kind of changes should be done. Right? And this could be for legal issues, it could be for uh, a social or a political issue also. Right? They could ask you about, let us say, the economy, things like tariffs and free trade deals and so on and so forth. They could ask you about issue like, you know, worker rights for, delivery boys and gig workers, and what is the legal definition of a gig worker, what benefits do they have, what benefits don't they have, what are the concerns that these people are facing, what kind of uh, changes that the government can do which will offer benefits or rights to the gig workers and so on. Then the fourth area is personality. They're looking for, okay, what do I see in this person other than the academics, the SLAT score and the 10th marks and so on? What do I see in this person? And do I see the makings or the potential to be a good lawyer? Right. So here they are looking at strengths and weaknesses and key achievements and uh, values, beliefs, preferences, motivation, all of them which are a part of the person that you are, right? Remember, uh, till now, they only know what score you got, There's a name, there's a hall ticket, and a scorecard. That's what they know about you so far. Now is the first time they actually get to see the person. Now, quickly connected to evaluation parameters is the areas that are tested, right? So one area that gets tested is academics. Right? Academics is the subjects that you've studied in 11 and 12. Hmm. Typically, they would pick one or two of the subjects and ask a few questions. Right? What those subjects would be, I think largely they take it from the transcript. Okay, so you've studied, let us say, commerce. So it's okay, how about accounting or maybe a little bit of taxation or maybe economics, basics of microeconomics or microeconomics, right? If you studied humanities, they may ask you about political science. So sociology, political science, any of the subjects that you've studied, largely it is going to be core concepts, the basics, right? But they would like you to be precise in your answers. Right? Remember, some of these concepts are definitions. You have to be precise. If somebody says, what is income elasticity of demand, there is a precise answer for it. You can't kind of beat around your bush and say, sometimes this happens when somebody's salary goes up, they purchase more of some items less. No, that story is not. There is a certain definition that they are expecting it. Plus, they are also trying to see whether you can connect it to real life, whether you can think of practical applications. Right? So the same income elasticity of demand, they may say, okay, what kind of products would have a very high income elasticity of demand? What kind of products would have low income elasticity? Or is it possible for a product to have a negative income elasticity of demand, such that a household's income goes up and their consumption of a particular product goes down? Right? So just trying to connect these small things. Similarly, they may say, okay, why do we make provisions in accounts? Suppose we make a provision for 100 crores of bad debt, but actual bad debt turns out to be only 85 crores. What happens to the remaining 15 crores? Right? I'm sure you've heard of when we say a private limited company is a going concern. But what exactly does a going concern mean? What happens if all the shareholders and directors of a company die in a plane crash? Does the company still survive? These are some of the questions that they could ask. Can you talk about two, three fundamental differences between a partnership firm and a private limited? I'm just giving examples from subjects that I'm aware of. It would be the subject that you've actually studied in 11th and 12th. Now, good news is you are preparing for boards, so in that sense, it becomes easier. But a quick revision of the basics, the concepts, definitions, trying to give a few small examples can make a big difference. Legal and general awareness, yes, almost all the key important issues. It could be Israel and Gaza, where Trump has now talked about something called a board of peace, which seems to be, his attempt to create another parallel United Nations. Right? It could be about that. It could be about his ambition on Greenland. It could be about what are people rebelling in Iran? What are the concerns that they have? Who is the Ayatollah? Why are young people on the streets? What are some of the issues that they are protesting for, and so on and so forth. Then career plan and motive. Typically, broadly, if I have to look at it, the two most common questions are why law and why symbiosis law, right? And we discussed why law, right? We have to connect it to what, see, in many cases, I would like you to explain the process through which you decided on law as a career. Sometimes the process is as important as the end goal. When did you get first interested? What kind of research did you do? Who are the people you talked to? What were the discussions in the family about? Are you aware of the kind of skills or work or strengths required to be areas, personality traits that can make you a good lawyer? Do you think you have those personality traits? Why do you think law is a good fit for you as a person? And so on and so forth. Right? Very, but they would not go into things like, okay, what kind of a lawyer do you want to be? Would you work for a law firm, or would you set up your own practice or litigation? But that's, I mean, you're still young and you've not yet started the practice, the study of law. That's a 5-year process. So these things will get finalized later, right? So you don't have to go very specific and say, I want to be an intellectual property lawyer or environmental lawyer, unless you've done a lot of research in that area. But that's rare. So in most cases, I think broadly about, why law interests you. How did you go about the process of deciding that this is a career? Why do you think it's a good fit for the kind of person that you are? The other question is equally important, though not that difficult to prepare. Why symbiosis law? Now, the problem here is that a lot of answers again become very template based, standardized answer. It is one of the oldest and best law schools in the country, kind of stuff, right? With just about anybody can say. Part of this answer, why symbiosis law, is also about showing them the respect that, yes, I am seriously interested in this law school, interested enough to do a little bit of research, right? It's like I go to a symbiosis law school interview and they ask me why symbiosis law, and I say, look, I don't want to give the impression that I haven't even gone through the website, right? So what happens here is that you go through the website, you go through their brochures, look at the things which are a bit unique, look at the things that they're proud of, right? Obviously, as a law school, if I'm proud of some things, I have put them up right on the top of the web page. I put them in the first page of the brochure, the second page of the brochure. Right? So understand what is unique about the law school, what is it that they are very proud of, and then connect it to things that you're interested in. Okay, suppose you are interested in moot courts and they have traditionally done well in moot court competition, then you can connect that. Suppose environmental law is an area of interest and they seem to have a lot of workshops or seminars on environmental law. That's so papers published in that particular area. That could be an interesting thing. We could talk about the kind of internship support that Symbiosis provides and so on and so forth. Right? A tricky part here is between Pune and Hyderabad, between Pune, Hyderabad, Nagpur, and uh, Delhi. Now, here, Symbiosis would like to believe that all campuses are equally good, right? For example, if you ask me like which CL center is good, is it Jayanagar good or Indiranagar good or Kormangla good, right? I would say that, look, it is the same institute, the same team, and therefore all the centers are equally good and we do our best in each of the centers, right? I'm sure at a much higher level, Symbiosis Law School would like to believe that all the centers are equally good, right? So do not make the mistake of saying that, look, Pune is really good, and Hyderabad is okay, and Nagpur is really pathetic. You can't do that, right? I'm not saying you would use the same words, but be very careful when you talk about things like relative ranking and your preferences between different campuses and so on. Right? Yes, there are differences. Part of the difference is that Pune is the oldest campus. Part of the difference is that the best of students pick Pune, which means the quality of incoming students tend to be higher. To some extent, alumni wise, obviously, it's connected to the number of years the college has been in existence. So, again, you have a larger alumni base. These are all facts, but be careful how you use these facts, right? So, when they have this concept that all campuses are equal, respect that, though you still have your own preference list, but be diplomatic and tactful in how you put it across and say that Pune is the area that I'm really interested in. I'm just saying, in case you have, Pune and multiple campuses, I want you to be clear that yes, I have a preference list and I'm looking at Pune as my number one choice, but you will not put down the other campuses, not try to say like, no, Pune or nothing kind of thing. Okay. You may internally have a Pune or nothing thing, but once you've applied, there's no point saying that I applied to Hyderabad, but I'm not really interested in joining. So don't do that, right? And go through the website. Try to find interesting things connected to your experiences or areas of interest and say that, okay, these are, while yes, it's a highly reputed law school, there are a couple of things I've found are extremely interesting and which motivated me to apply X, Y. Okay, let's take a look. Okay, so when you prepare, what do you actually do? Right? I think the first thing is make sure that you prepare. Sometimes people prepare hard for entrance tests, don't prepare enough for interviews because they believe that, look, what is there to prepare? I have to go and answer questions and I have to just go and speak. I just have to be myself, right? Being myself is a good idea, but to effectively be yourself, you need to be prepared, right? And trust me, most of you are not ready. Okay. The good news is that it doesn't take too much time to get ready, right? So when I say prepare, typically it means that you revise. For example, you revise academics, right? You revise key topics in general and legal awareness, right? Some standard question could be, okay, do you read the newspaper regularly? You say, yes, ma'am, yes, sir, I do. They say, okay, what was the headline today? And it doesn't have to be very specific, right? You may just pick some important issue which was there in yesterday's newspaper. They're not going to nitpick about that. All they want to do is to pick a topic on which they want to test how well you've understood, right? Please understand, it's not just facts. From facts, big picture. Do you understand? Do you comprehend? Can you put the facts together and get a total story? Then, based on the total story, understanding the facts, under logic, do you have an opinion? An opinion that you can justify. Similarly, anticipate questions, right? Obviously, general awareness could come from any area, but questions regarding you, your profile, questions regarding to why law, these are all anticipated questions. And when you can anticipate questions, then you have to prepare and make sure that you're ready, right? So understand yourself. Okay, what's been my life so far? Like, let's not go to preschool and all that, but last 5, 6 years, what have I done in terms of academics, extracurricular activities, any posts or positions that I have of responsibility that I've held, right? What hobbies have I nurtured? How much have I understood myself in terms of what am I good at? What would I consider as my, biggest achievement? What are the areas where I'm still lacking, where I need to improve? How do my teachers, how would they describe me? How would my friends look at me? So you're trying to get a view, a kind of outside in view of who you are, right? Think about it as, your consciousness is floating outside you and saying, okay, I'm going to look retrospective of the last 6 years, right? Okay, it sounds a little far-fetched, but we rarely look at our life uh, in the macro picture. We normally look at, okay, what do I have to do today? What do I have to do next week? Right? But we rarely say, okay, let me just kind of analyze my life for the last 5, 6 years. So look at key influences, key decisions that you have taken, turning points in your life, right? Think about your achievements, think about failures, think about strengths and weaknesses. What are the things that you value? What are things that you're interested in? What kind of a person are you? Spend some time thinking about it and use that as material to frame your answers. Right. Okay. Going deeper, these are important points. One is the panel wants to know more about you. Right? The interview is about you are the subject of the interview. Right? Make sure that you cooperate. Make sure that you actively let them in so that they can see the real you. Please don't be defensive in the interview. It's not that you're trying to fend off questions. Questions are not meant to hurt you and you're not trying to fend them off, right? So, a lot of the questions are open-ended. You don't have to be very concise and precise in your answers because the objective is for the panel to know you. So, if you think that something is relevant, feel free to bring it in, even if it is not exactly or directly the answer to the question. If you think it is relevant, if it helps the panel know you, you can bring in connected areas, right? The key here is relevance. Talk about things in your life which are relevant to the context being a interview for admission into a law school. Think about things which add value. What can I talk about myself which will show that I have good communication skills? What can I talk about which will demonstrate that I am a diligent person and someone who pays attention to details? What part of my life can I talk about which can show that I'm a good team player, right? Which brings me to the next point. Don't tell, demonstrate, right? Or more precisely, don't claim, give evidence, right? Think about it. In an interview panel, if I say that I am an extremely smart, logical, and hardworking person, right? All three are claims. Would there be any student who will claim otherwise and say that I'm not hardworking, I'm not smart? Nobody would do that, right? So just by making the claim that you're hardworking does not make it believable or credible. What will make it credible is if you can demonstrate, look, I'm very good at planning. I was one of the committee members for the school MUN, which is one of the largest MUNs in the city. We had 300 delegates, and this is the kind of work that we did as a team, and this was my role in it. Right? By talking about what you actually did, you have demonstrated certain skills, ability to organize, ability to plan, ability to work in a team. Right? So this is a very important point. Try to demonstrate through examples rather than simply claim using adjectives, right? Then remember we said the panel wants to know more about you. So this is really about you, right? But you decide what cards you want to show, what facets of your life you want to talk about. So this is about getting the panel into the zones where you are comfortable. So that is where open-ended questions, a lot of questions. For example, tell me about yourself is a very open-ended question. What do you do apart from studies? It's an open-ended question. So a lot of these open-ended questions, you have a lot of leeway as to which way you want to go. And one aspect is what are the things which will highlight the good aspects of me? my strengths, my achievements. The other thing is, what are the things that I'm more comfortable talking about, right? For example, let us say you have done a paper presentation on, let us say, animal rights. I'm just making it up. I'm sure somebody did that. And then you want to talk about it. So you mention that and get them interested. If they're interested, they'll ask you more. Oh, that looks an interesting project. What did you do? A group of us mentored kids of domestic help and ensured that their language and math skills improved. Okay, don't make up stories. Talk about things that you've actually done, but pick things where you would like to talk more about it. Right? You may, in general awareness, also say that yes, I do follow the news and read newspapers. I have a special interest in geopolitics. Why do I say that? Because I want them to ask me more questions in geopolitics. If I just leave it that yes, I read the newspaper, they may pick any aspect of general awareness. But what if I go more specific? Right? And this thing is so powerful as a tool, right? So many cases, let's say another example, they ask you about your hobbies, right? So if you say, I'm an avid reader and I read a lot of books, right? It's a good hobby. Yes, reading is a good hobby. What's the mistake here? The mistake is you're not specific enough. And they'll say, okay, did you read Thinking Fast and Slow by Daniel Kahneman? And you say, I've not even heard of that book. Right? Or they say, okay, have you read Socrates or Thus Spake Zarathustra? Okay, obviously I'm stretching things a little bit, but understand the point. You did not give them any context. You just said reading. What constitute good books to read is completely person dependent. You didn't give them any clue, so they kept asking whatever they want to ask. So what's a better answer? Saying that I'm an avid reader, I read books like this genre, and mention one or two favorite books or favorite authors. Right? So I like reading books, especially detective thrillers, like, and maybe you give one or two examples. I like reading science fiction authors with strong women characters. For example, uh, whatever, what is that? Hunger Games. So by giving them a more specific view about your hobbies, you are able to direct the questions to those particular areas. Similarly, somebody says music. Music is too vast. Pick a genre and tell them this is the kind of music I like. It's possible some of them are also interested in that. And then you could have a lovely conversation about Taylor Swift and Ophelia and whoever. Right? So, key, same thing, cooking as a hobby. No. Cooking what? I love cooking. It gives me this thing. I normally make home cooked food, South Indian food or Tamil cuisine, which is, what I learned from my parents and grandparents. Perfect. So then let's talk about, particular dishes related to things that you know which you're comfortable with. Otherwise, cooking could be anything. It could be pasta. It could be, I don't know, shawarma, right? So key question is getting them into your zones. What are the three, four subjects that I could bring them in? And if they ask more questions on that area, I'd be very comfortable because that is my area of expertise. It could be Manchester United, it could be Formula One, it could be anything. Good? Okay. So here are some sample questions. So tell me something about yourself or introduce yourself or talk about the key aspects of your life. These are questions which are very common, normally comes at the beginning of the, okay. So what is a good answer? What should be included? A lot of people give you formula to include. You should talk about your school, you should talk about your family, you should talk. No, I will not give you any formula, right? I want you to think and say, hey, what is relevant? What is the value add? What are the key aspects of my life which I think are an advantage, which I want to highlight? And what are the areas where I am comfortable, where I would like the discussion to flow? Answer these three questions well, and you have your answer about introduce yourself. Okay, now let's get a little deeper into this. Should I talk about my parents? You can, but it's not compulsory. How do I decide? Relevance. How do I connect my parents to this particular thing? Okay, I could say my parents are highly educated. Both of them are postgraduates. My mother is also a PhD, and they have always taught me to, value quality education. So I'm trying to connect it, some aspect that I've learned from them, right? So if you're not going to connect, then let it go, right? It's not necessary to talk about parents or elder sibling or younger sibling or anybody unless you find a way to connect it and say, I'm going to connect it to the kind of values I grew up with, the kind of attributes that I got from them. Similarly, do we talk about hobbies? Yes. Normally we talk about hobbies because hobbies kind of gives you a 360 degree, right? It's that you're not just a person who's done reasonably well in CBSE or ICSE with a certain score and a SLAT score. No, you're a person, you have a personality, you have things that you do. But do understand one thing, that an introduce yourself has to be a 360-degree picture of you. Little bit about academics, little bit about career, your goals and ambition, little bit about your key achievements, little bit about your extracurriculars and hobby, right? But understand it is not the full picture. It's a teaser trailer, right? Do not go in depth into any of these areas. Leave it for them to decide which of these areas they will take up in further questions. Okay? Similarly, what are your strengths and weaknesses? Everybody has strengths and weaknesses, but awareness of your own strengths and weaknesses helps you make better decisions and puts you on a path of personal growth, right? If I know my weaknesses, then I'm going to work on them. I get better. If I know my strengths, I also make the right decisions in terms of maybe career decisions, in terms of other decisions. I pick things which play to my strengths, right? So we know what kind of uh, traits are good or seen as core skills for a lawyer, right? So if you've done research, if you're good at reading and analysis, if you're good at speaking, if you're good at critical thinking, if you've done debates, if you've done MUN, do highlight them. One way of identifying strengths is start from the achievements and say these are the achievements. This achievement highlights what strength. But again, remember, do not claim, demonstrate. So instead of saying I'm good at communication, talk about the debates, talk about the MUN. Okay. Similarly, what is a hobby? A hobby, by definition, requires two things. One, it should require a consistent, frequent allocation of time. How frequent? It can depend on the topic, hobby, right? So, for example, badminton is a hobby for me. How frequently do I play? Maybe 3 days a week or 4 days a week. Scuba diving is also a hobby for me, but obviously I can't do it every day. So I go once a year or maybe twice a year if I'm lucky, right? So But it cannot be that I last played I last played table tennis 6 years ago, but I still consider it to my hobby. No, if it is a hobby, then you would find the time for it. And you can't, as a high schooler, go and claim that I'm so busy that I never have time for hobbies. That doesn't work. You were not preparing for IIT JEE, so that would have been a legit excuse, but take it. Right? So, first thing about hobbies is you spend some time reasonably frequently on that hobby. The second is hobby is an area where you have specialized knowledge. Right? Everybody who takes pictures is not a photographer. Somebody who has photography as a hobby has some additional knowledge, specialized knowledge about photography. Something about light or, aperture or framing or I don't know what. Right? So, specialized knowledge, you know more than the average person on that particular area because it's your hobby. And you spend regular amount of time. Right? Hobbies help us in our life, they make our life richer. But that doesn't mean we have to stretch it. How gardening will make me a better lawyer? I mean, you don't have to, stretch it so far and saying this kind of calmness that I get while doing gardening will actually help me be a better lawyer. It doesn't have to be. It makes your life richer. That's all that matters. Yes. Okay. So again, why pursue law as a career? We discussed this. Try to link it to inspiration, personal experiences, what you did, how you decided. It's always better, right? Because you want to project it as a decision that was not taken on a whim or a fancy, but on careful consideration, being well aware of what law is and what are your strengths. You have decided that you're a good fit. This question is interesting. A lot of colleges nowadays look at not only what you would gain from the college, but how would you actually contribute to the college? What value do you bring to the community? Right? Here again, give it a thought. How do you make the community richer and better while in college and afterwards as an alumni? Okay. I think legal and general awareness are reasonably self-evident. Last part is about creating a CV. First rule, strictly one page. Okay. Do not even question me on this. Right? People with post-graduation and work experience, I still restrict them to one page. Right? This discipline of know that you have limited space, it forces you to pick the most important aspects of your life and present them concisely. Again, remember, CV is a snapshot. It is a teaser trailer. It is not meant to be the complete picture. Yes, Brihan, I'll take questions. This is the last page, so I'll take questions after that. Right? Okay. So strictly one page, very well formatted. These days, you have AI to help you. You have a lot of template-based formula that are available. Don't go for something like way too fancy. You're not applying, let us say, for an event marketing firm. Okay, so keep it neat and clean. Uh, Make sure it is double checked, triple checked to ensure that every punctuation mark, every spelling and grammar rule is correct. I would not want one grammatical mistake or punctuation mistake in the entire series. Okay. Obviously, academics had to be mentioned. Class 10, 12th is pursuing for a lot of you. School, board, subjects, GPA, till to the extent that it's actually there. This is anyway mandatory. The other part is what can you include? Academic achievements, prizes won, papers presented, so on and so forth. Organizational, head boy, secretary, treasurer, uh, MU1 organizing committee, whatever, sports captain, whatever you want to bring in. Organizational is to try and show that you have the ability to work with people as a team player. You could lead, You could also be a part of a team. You can plan, you can organize. That's important area to put in. Along with the position that you would held, one line or two about the role and responsibilities or any key achievements that you have done. So as a head boy, I did XY, these 2 points. Extracurricular, again, a lot of extracurriculars from debates to MUNs to essay ratings to whatever, right? Sports, again, important. And social work, in case you've done any particular social work, right? Remember, you don't necessarily have to have points in all five. And do not make up stuff. Something that you have done, you could inflate its importance a little bit, showcase it better, but do not outright lie and create stories. Okay, so if you have points on 3 of these 5, that's good enough. Okay, sure. Let's take questions now. I see one, I think they've asked for it, but I'm yet to see the letter. So letter will come tomorrow, you will get an idea, right? But even otherwise, it's good because it kind of forces you to think about your life and what are the key achievements and what are the most important points, and also to organize them in these categories. So even if it is not compulsory, doing it will actually help organize your thoughts better. Yes, Brihan.
For example, if we have, a collection of all our like MUNs, like for example, I do a lot of MUNs. So if I have to mention it, do I, give a brief description of what happened during that MUN? So, like if they're referring to the CV and asking me a question, they can say, okay, yeah, okay, you represented XYZ country. What is this country's foreign policy or something on some
I don't
particular
think
issue?
CV will have that kind of time frame because, as I said,
Okay.
strictly one page. I think what is important is the participation and the awards. And if you're in the organizing side, also that can be mentioned.
Yeah, sure. But so like, for example, if there are like a lot of awards, like how do we prioritize mentioning them? So
I think then you can say that I have won Best Delegate Award in multiple MUNs. Or if you
sure.
want to highlight, that these MUNs are really high profile MUNs, then you can mention that. You
Okay,
can't
thank you.
list you can't
Sure,
list 8 different MUNs that you have participated and won awards.
sure, sir.
Again, see what is the point? The point that you're trying to prove is that you have certain abilities, right? Now, whether it is 3 awards or 5 awards, the point is made.
Okay, sir. Okay, I understand.
Right. Viti.
Yes, sir. So I had this question where I want to ask that I have come across these questions like where they ask, "What if we reject you today?" So are these questions likely to come in the PI?
It's possible. Yes.
So then, how do you answer this
Hmm.
question?
What would you do? Right? What is your end goal?
To become a lawyer, right?
Right? Does it have to
Yeah.
be through symbiosis? No.
No.
So you can say that, look, my end goal is to become a really good lawyer, and I have, to the best of my knowledge, identified and applied to some of the best possible colleges that I aim to get in. And Symbiosis is among the top of that list. And I have prepared well both for the written test and the interview. But in case I do not making, I would go to another good college and still continue my journey towards the I will not I mean and to become a really good lawyer.
Okay, sir.
Risha,
So my doubt was with regards to the CV. Do we have
right.
to follow any particular format or anything?
Any good format. I think typically things like MS Word automatically give format. There are online formats, templates where you can just use. But
Okay.
typically the standard template would start with name and then the academics first and then different achievements. Ideally, achievements organized by category would be good.
Okay. Okay. Got it, sir.
Ayan.
So, do we need to provide evidence for all the achievements that we have done?
If you have certificates, I don't think, see, in the online interview, they will not look at it, but yeah, it makes sense to keep it ready.
Okay, sir. So, but we don't attach it with the CV, right?
No,
Okay, sir. And also, when we make the CV, from which grade to which grade K achievements do we put in them?
high school normally. It doesn't make sense to go
Okay, sir.
into middle school and earlier types and all that. Yes, but yeah, if something significant was done in, say, class 8, you can mention, but don't go below that.
Yes, sir.
Ekam.
Good evening, sir. Sir, I wanted to know about what do we mean by organizational achievements?
See, organizational is uh, you are part of a committee that organizes events, right? It could be a sports meet, it could be an MUN, it could be a inter-school competition, it could be a sports day, right? In many cases, student committees actually do a lot of the work here.
Okay, sir.
And as a part of that, you sometimes have even permanent positions like, like head boy and committee member or secretary or student council and things like that. It's good to show that.
All right, sir. And sir, for social work, can we also mention the informal work which we have done other than school and considerably in eighth or seventh grade?
It can be done. Just don't
Okay, sir.
blow it up into something major if the work is informal and uh, you know because sometimes they question and say, okay, how many kids have you actually trained? Let's say if you have done, how long did you do it for, and so on and so forth. So just be reasonable. Don't make claims that you can't substantiate.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
I think I had the same problem that I was warning. Despite having the UPS at the router end and UPS to the computer, it still lost connectivity. Yes. Sai Priya.
Sir, I had a question regarding academic achievements. Like, will the allowance of high school be counted? Like,
Sorry, which
but
one?
it's a non-legal subjects, but will it be counted?
No, no, yeah. It doesn't have to be legal. It doesn't have to be legal. Whatever
Like,
subjects that you studied, you have done well and have achievements in them, it matters. It doesn't have to be, I mean, most of you haven't actually studied legal subjects. So, in that sense, it's fine.
right, sir. Like, say for example, like science Olympiad or something, if we have like gotten a
Ab-
gold medal or something, will that
Absolutely.
still?
I get your point. Do not do not be worried that, they will look at and say, okay, she has done well in science and maths. Why does she want to be a lawyer? That doesn't matter. Lot of the skills that and the attitude that takes to succeed, it can translate. If you're good in science, you put in hard work there, you're able to understand concepts, that will actually translate well into law also, right? So don't worry
Right,
about
sir.
that. I don't want to talk about science achievements. Even if you've done a good science project, you can still talk about it.
And like I had participated in this All India exam in 10th, and I had gotten like a pretty good All India rank, but that is not such a popular exam. So do you think I can like, put that also in my CV?
It's good. It's good. Just mention it. It's just one sentence, right? Saying that I participated in this contest and secured whatever 120 rank or 80 rank or whatever that you want to put there.
Okay, sir. Okay. Thank you, sir.
Anjali.
Sir, I won a scholarship through a competition to a college. Does that count as an academic achievement?
Definitely.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, Ishanvi.
Sir, I heard from a senior that SLS also sends a draft CV format. So is that true?
We'll find out. We'll find out tomorrow. If they
Okay.
give you a format, then that's great. But it's likely to be a one pager. It's likely to be in this format that I talked about.
Okay,
If they
sir.
send you a format, it's great, and all you have to do is fit your data into that format, which is possible because then the college finds it easier to compare if all the CVs are in the same format. So that's possible, but we'll find out tomorrow.
Okay. Also, can we expect like all our call letters from each college by tomorrow, or will it happen in the period of 2-3 days?
Not sure. They've said from tomorrow onwards. I
Okay.
think they would probably send all. The interview dates might be slightly different. So yeah. But
Okay, sir.
by
Thank
end
you.
of the month, they say that they'll finish everything. So
Okay. Okay.
Sarangi,
So the official website mentions that the PI call interviews will be out on 21st. So can we actually expect it tomorrow?
okay, 21st is it? Okay, so
Yeah.
I might have
I
got
mean,
it
SLS Pune at least.
right. I might have got the dates confused. I was
Okay.
thinking 20th. Yeah.
Okay, so that's okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Yes, Anjali.
Sir, in the SLS Pune website, it says that the PI and SLAT are given 50-50 weightage, but in the SLAT website, it says that it's given 70-30 weightage. So which one?
Okay. It used to be 70-30, and maybe they have updated one and not updated the SLAT website, right?
Okay.
Or maybe SLS Pune alone wants to give a different weightage compared to other SLS, because finally, while it's part of a group, there is certain autonomy for each of these institutions.
Okay, sir.
Do go through the website. The website is fairly comprehensive. In fact, they give a proper placement report also. They talk about which firms come and how many internships were offered and kind of average salaries. All kinds of information is there. So it's a good thing to take a look. Risha?
Sir, I wanted to ask what you think is a decent enough percentile to get an interview call from Pune.
I would say 95 should be enough. Might
Okay.
work slightly lower, but 95 should be enough.
Okay.
Which I think is about 45, 46 score.
Okay.
Right. All good then? Right? This is the way forward. So, yeah. So, tomorrow/day
So
after, corrected. Please make sure you report to the center, share the call letter with them, get the mock PI schedule. Okay. So, all the centers have been instructed to take names, analyze, and do it. But just in case any center doesn't respond quick enough, push a little bit. Okay. Call once more, send another message saying that when can I get this? Second, based on what we discussed today, start preparing frame answers. A lot of you are, you don't write. It's like, make a note and say, if this is a question, why, tell me about yourself. What would my answer be? Frame it and revise it once or twice. It gets better, polished. At least, okay, these are 6 points I will cover. Okay, if they talk about why law, these are going to be my points. Sometimes you want to read it out to somebody and say, does it sound good? And then, so in many cases, the second, third revision is when the answer starts getting much better. Okay? Okay. And once the mock PI is done, some feedback will be given in that mock PI. Work on that mock PI before the actual interview. Yes. Right. Any other questions? Good. Okay. So all the best. Let's wait for the results. And one request, yes, while you intimate the center about the call letter, I hope you will also intimate when you get the final offer. In many cases, what happens is after they get the final offers, we don't know how many were successful, not successful, where they are joining, right? We would like to keep track of students, and who knows, next time some of you might take a session and talk about, what worked for you in the interview or how did you actually prepare for SLAT and how the SLAT experience went and so on and so forth. Okay. Or even to come back and say, look, this is the experience in Pune. This is what is good at LS Pune. This is the not so good part. And yeah. As I said, expected cutoff should be in the 95 percentile range for SLS Pune. BBA might be about 1 percentile lower. Hyderabad would be 90, 91, another 3, 4 marks lower, maybe 41, 42. Good. Anyway, it's just a couple of days. Yeah, 43 should get Hyderabad. Yes. Okay. Chalo. So that's it for yes, Ashmita. Go ahead.
Sir,
Tell me.
I just wanted to know regarding admission to NLUs in a foreign national NRI category by any chance?
Yeah. So foreign national category is not through this counseling process. It will be done separately. So you know which colleges have that quota.
Yeah, I checked. Out of the top 10, only two don't have it, which is NLU Bangalore, and this year Kolkata doesn't have it.
Huh.
But the rest do. My only doubt is for foreign national, they take 12th grade board marks, but nowhere is it mentioned, and from no one can I get the information as to how much I'm supposed to get.
Okay. So what happened is, hello, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
So till last year, they were still using CLAT scores, right? So, and there used to be a separate category for the NRI sponsored, just like you get a national rank, state rank, and a women category rank, you would also get a NRI/OCI rank, right? So this year that has been removed. But this is an individual application process. So it will come on the website saying that, okay, now apply. When they apply, it is quite possible that they will still ask you for your CLAT score. It's much easier to give admission based on CLAT rank than this thing. And that's
Of
what they
course.
used to do till last year. So till last year, the same scorecard would have a NRI category rank for all those who applied. NLS Bangalore has 15 seats this time, but that seems to be a different story. We are not very sure because one area they say that people should have studied abroad, not just be foreign nationals, but studied abroad, which more or less rules out most of us. But we'll get clarity there. But then there's a separate exam called NLS SAT.
Yes, I've heard of that as well. Yeah.
But that is about March is their plan, so we'll get more clarity. Obviously, our alum, I've asked them to just check on it and see if we can get more clarity on that.
Of course. They have mentioned that for NRI sponsor, it is the CLAT marks still, as far as they have announced it. Only foreign national, they're saying that it
Okay.
is also the
Yeah,
board mark, and I'm applicable for both. So I was just confused.
right. ठीक है. And in some cases, so it's really up to the individual NLUs to decide on what basis they will give.
All right. Okay.
So then we'll just have to wait on we have to check on the individual NLU sites. But obviously, any information we have, we'll put it in the group.
All right. All right. Okay. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Sure. Right.
Thank
So
you.
that's it for now. Thank you. Good night. And yes, recording we'll share in the groups.